Hi, TikTok. This is something I want to share. Yes, I have a high forehead. Yes, my face is kind of oily. That's a fact. Yes, my hair is in a ponytail, and it's about as clean as it gets. This is about as blonde as my hair gets when it's clean. It used to be platinum. It started changing in my early 20s. Last time I had any platinum was probably in 2018, I guess. Now it's 2024. Okay, I have a little rant. I tend to get stuck in the past a lot. I tend to dwell on things a lot. That's just kind of my personality. I get stuck in these cycles of daydreaming and rehearsing out loud, verbalizing out loud conversations of the past. Sometimes it hurts me to relive these things through my own conversations and monologues. And it hurts me to re-feel those hurt feelings all over again. You ever feel when you share your truth with other people who don't know you very well that something happens? A happens, B happens, C is the result, D happens, E happens, F is the result. Cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. And all these cause and effects happen. And the people who are the observers, who should be intervening in these causes to prevent the effects, they don't do anything until it's too late. And then they try to give you reasons why you are the cause. Or, okay, we'll admit maybe we did something wrong, but we're not going to totally admit that, but instead we're going to try to compromise. Okay, this is more of a YouTube. Whatever. Compromises. It was painful. I'm 34 years old, almost 35, and I'm still dwelling on something that happened 20 years ago. 20 years ago and 3 months. I'm still mad about it. I have a right to be. I'm very mad. Because they insulted my integrity. They insulted my intelligence. They took me for granted, and they showed me that we don't really care how you feel. We just want funding in our pockets to keep you at this school. I went to a K-8 school growing up, 5 blocks away from my home. Started walking to school, walking home in 2nd grade. Insulated, sheltered neighborhood in Seattle called Magnolia. The school was called Catherine Blaine K-8. In the 50s, it was built to be a junior high, opened in 51. It was 5th grade to 7th grade, and then over a few years it went up to 9th grade, and it was 5th grade to 9th grade up until 1982. And then the Seattle schools closed it in favor of reorganizing their junior highs into middle schools with 6th through 8th grades, putting 5th grades back in elementary schools, and changing around the entire district. It reopened as a K-4 or K-3 in the late 80s. And by 94, it was a K-6. In the 97-98 school year, they added 7th grade. The following school year after that, they added 8th grade because they had levies passed. My sister was in the second graduating 8th grade class. We were 5 grades apart. I was in 3rd grade when she graduated. So come my third grade year, the bullying began, the aggression. And it started kind of, I think, maybe on the first, second day of third grade, because there was that expectation of school supplies advancing, and I didn't have a zipper or Velcro or fabric binder. All the other kids had zipper, Velcro, fabric binders. Nowadays, kids just have Chromebooks provided by the school districts, and they don't even need binders. Maybe they do use binders, but not in the same way we millennials did. And my third grade teacher was the teacher who decided to establish a pecking order, a social hierarchy of who was who, what was what the social status quo was. Bitch. Her name was Miss Stokes. Anita Stokes, Linda Stokes. I don't know. Can't find her on the internet because obviously 20 years later, people's faces and hair change. But I don't know. I don't know what happened to her. She retired, I think, one school year later, or she moved to teach at a different school. I don't know. She wasn't a very nice teacher. She wasn't very interested in the needs of the kids. I think she was there for the tenure and her paycheck. She was older, maybe in her late 40s, early 50s. She wore a lot of big, frumpy, not ironed, button-down shirts. Ugly early 90s blouses. Men's pinstriped button-down shirts. She wore a lot of kitchen aprons. She tended to wear denim skirts or floral printed skirts that were very big in the 90s. She looked like she wore Laura Ashley dresses made for middle-aged moms. But she wasn't very mom. She wasn't very motherly. She wasn't very kind. She didn't have a motherly instinct in her body. And because of her, she established the social order that would continue. For my grade level classes, we went up the grades. That was garbage. She was the first teacher to really bully me. I mean, Miss Anderson, when she got married. But Miss Alford, she was a bitch. She cursed and screamed at kids. She was my first grade teacher. She didn't like kids. Or maybe she was pregnant that year, and she was also kind of wonky in the head. Moody. Cursed and screamed at kids. You know, I couldn't tell time very well in first grade. I struggled with borrowing and adding and carrying and subtraction and addition. And she screamed at me and sneered at me, a 3'5", 50-pound 7-year-old in first grade, struggling with carrying and borrowing and addition and subtraction, struggling with telling time. I mean, I remember a pajama day that, you know, kids could bring their blankets and pillows and fun books, and there were toy days, and there were singing days, and there were field trips, and yeah, there were a few highlight small non-torturous moments of first grade. Second grade, we had a lot of military kids come in and go out due to a military base in the neighborhood. And I think we had more kids that year in my second grade class than were in the yearbook page of headshots. I think there were 28 kids in the school yearbook for my second grade class, but I think we had like 5, 6, maybe 7 additional kids who came and went in the middle of the school year. Third grade was terrible. They called me the R word. RETARDED. Sometimes one, sometimes with the ED. Because you know what? I had a retainer. I had a crossbite. I had a lower mandible retainer that I could pop out of my mouth when it was time to have lunch or eat food or drink liquids. And it caused me to have a speech impediment. Not that I had one before, I already did, but apparently it was more noticeable, and kids begin to notice things and get meaner when they're 9 years old. It was boys bullying me, it was girls bullying me. It was just kind of a whole annoying thing, and I thought the girl next to me was more disabled than me. I found out later in high school when I found her on Facebook. No, she just had a bad speech impediment too. They called her the R word and they didn't want to work with her. I thought she was actual special needs. But no, she just had genetically not great teeth and a really bad speech impediment. Yeah. Fourth grade was kind of the last year of childhood rite of passage. A lot of fun days, good days, hard days, lots of fun field trips, classroom incentives, a marble jar for good behavior and good days, like house points in Gryffindor. 10 points from Gryffindor! 20 points to Gryffindor! The castle hears it, and then the points just go in the system magically. It was the same thing with the marble jar. It was just a big plastic jug for marbles being put into it from another plastic jug. I thought it was kind of cool. We even got a field trips we could earn with our teacher to have our teacher walk us to the neighborhood Subway sandwich franchise store. If we earned enough points, we could use that and have lunch with our teacher and bring along one extra classmate, as long as parents signed the permission slip form. And it was like 35 minutes of no other classmates, no other kids, just the teacher buys lunch for the one kid and their choice of a friend. That was great in fourth grade. And I took advantage of that, I think, twice. We had a field trip that year. It was supposed to be to the state capitol building. It was supposed to be the day after what ended up being an earthquake. And that field trip got canceled, and we ended up going to the State History Museum in Tacoma, like a month later. And I remember the earthquake. I was the first kid to yell out loud "earthquake" because we had experienced 2 earthquakes in the previous 2 years. What am I don't know. Anyways, this is part 1 of a long rant. If you made it this far at the 13-minute mark, thank you. If you didn't, it's just me. Okay, bye.